Well, good afternoon, good evening, DCL podcast fans. It's always fun to meet back at the Cove. Christy, how are you this evening?
I'm exhausted. How are you?
I can't say I'm totally exhausted. It was a pretty easy day on the road. As you can tell, Christy's in Michigan and I am at the Grand Hyatt in beautiful San Francisco. So a little
Ooh,
bit different.
fancy.
Yeah, I don't know if it's really super fancy or not, but I guess I wanted to tell everybody that our listeners, this a little not quite as professional as we normally do with our backgrounds and everything like that. But we know that our listeners don't come here for our looks or anything like that. They come
Thank
for our
God.
exactly. They come for our witty banter and your knowledge, Christy.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, we have some witty banter today.
Hey, well, we will have some witty banter. Well, this is always one of my, I'm going to be honest, this is always my favorite release, Disney Cruise Line release. We're going to talk about summer of 2023. We got a hello already from Christine. How you doing? Good to see you. Glad you joined us. If anybody has any questions, if you want to make fun of us, we are here for you for the
No,
next
you
45
can't make
minutes.
fun of me today.
Okay, don't make fun of
Very
Christy.
sensitive.
You can make fun of me, but this is one of my favorite releases, summer of 2023. I think these are like some of the bucket list cruises that a lot of people want to go on, whether it's Alaska, over to Europe, or those sailings down to the Southern Caribbean, which why can't they do that the rest of the year? I don't know, Christy.
Why wouldn't they do that in the fall when there's hurricane season? There's no hurricanes in Aruba in the Southern Caribbean. It's outside of the hurricane belt. That's the perfect time to do it. I had that thought today while I was driving.
Perfect. Hello, Liz. Good to see you as well. Always on board with us as well. So, well, let's just jump right into it. Well, I guess I said why was some of my most exciting. Why I think it's one of the most exciting. We got Alaska, Europe, Southern Caribbean, the Bahamas, and bookings are going to open next Monday. We'll go through the list of that before we finish up. But May 2nd,
they've changed it up a little bit.
Okay, we'll talk about that at the end, but just be aware that next Monday is when bookings are going to open up based on your Castaway Club status, and we'll talk about that at the end.
Which, let's talk about that really quick. There
Sure.
were some rumors that the Castaway Club status was going to change, and they haven't changed it yet. So maybe they're just like, our website's not working enough to actually do something like that. So maybe that's the reason. I don't know, but it's good for me, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely good for me being on the lower tier of the upper tier, whatever that means. Okay, so also, and I thought this was the first time ever, but you corrected me. You can actually go on the booking site now and see the opening day prices for 2 people. And I'll let you talk about that, Chrissy.
Yes. So on Disney Cruise Line's website, they have the itineraries, and they started this when the Wish itineraries first came out, where they'll actually show you the pricing for 2, but you might be able to actually add the 4. Because
is there a way to do that?
Yeah, because
just
when
looked at
you
it
do
really
your
quick.
when you do your search, I'm not exactly sure actually. Let's maybe I don't know the answer to that. But you can it'll show you the lead-in price of those categories. So the lead-in ocean view, the lead-in veranda. So it's not where you're picking the middle of the ship and on deck 8 and all of those things. You're getting those, the veranda is the navigator veranda in the back with the smaller, different window. That's what their lead-in price is, but you get an idea of where you're starting at so that you can say, okay, maybe a Grease Isle cruise could happen for us. This is within the range. It's just so helpful for planning.
Definitely. Liz says you can do 4, so there must be a way to be able to do it. Lake is here too. I want to say hi, give a shout out to Lake and Katie if Katie's listening too. Go ahead, Chrissy.
I think the way to do it for by the number is when you do a search and you're searching for the itineraries. Because this morning, if you remember, we were chatting a little bit that all of the itineraries hadn't released on the website yet. And it wasn't even until we were able to print off the trusty PDF with the listing of the itineraries that we even knew what they all were. So when I did a search, though, I can put in, and it did say like 4 adults or something, or 4 people in Europe in 2023. And then you can see that list. And I don't know if it's populated properly or not since then.
And if you want to put in 6, if you're a family of 4, because you want to take Christy and I and see what that price breakdown would be, feel free to just let us know when we're going and when we're cruising with you. So
yeah, we'll clear our schedules.
Okay, I'm going to say this. I hesitate to say it, but I'm going to say it anyways. I just looked at the Greek Isle cruises for the 2 people and everything like that. And at least at the basic price, it's coming in roughly what the prices were for last year. Now, I'm not going to say that's all the way across the board. So we'll see how it ends up on opening day. I will give a huge shout out to Scott Sanders. He always has some opening day prices. People post that. I don't know if we really want to do that here on our podcast. That gets to be a lot.
We're not going to do that.
No. But if you want to go to, if you want to go to Scott Sanders, follow along with Scott Sanders. He usually has over the Disney Cruise Line blog. He usually has some of those opening day prices that people write in. So if you want to look at that, but I think,
and
I
if
think
you're
they don't look too bad.
They don't look too bad. I was looking at something else. I was looking at the 8-night Southern, one of those cruises, and that one didn't start out looking so bad. Sorry about my lights. I can't do anything about my environment that I'm in here.
That's why I said they come for our witty banter, Christy.
Yeah, you're not coming for our beautiful view today. The prices didn't look that bad. And if you are one of my clients and you're going to be booking something or you want to know, we can do pricing now ahead of your release. So if you're a silver, we can check the pricing the day before to at least say, what is it coming in at now? Because I can just log in as my own Castaway Club number, and maybe I should put that out there. It's fine. But I can see what the pricing are is if I wanted to price out those cruises. So.
Okay, that's good. All right, go ahead. Anything else about pricing?
Ask your travel agent if you book with somebody else.
There you go. The big news, which we reported on earlier, thanks to our good friend John over in England, he was able to find out that it looked like they were going to have a little bit bigger ship in Europe, and that is the case. Who's going to Europe, Christy?
The Dream.
I think that's pretty exciting.
That's kind of exciting. Like, I was looking through my pictures. I was doing an Instagram post this morning, and then I think I shared it with Facebook. But I was looking through my pictures of the Dream, and yes, Europe is port intensive. So you're not doing a ton on the ship, but to have the opportunity to do midship detective agency, we just talked about the differences with the episode that you just released earlier this week with Sarah of the difference between the Magic class and the Dream. And when they're like, they have putt golf, like things, especially if you're taking a family to Europe, it's nice to have those little things you could do together as a family on the time, during the times you are not touring some amazing city.
That is a good point. I mean, you generally most of the sailings have at least one day at sea, and if you're on a little bit longer sailing, you're probably going to have two when you're over in Europe. So, it's a couple of things that I thought about just throwing this out there. And if anybody has any other opinions that they want to throw out there about the Dream going there, it should open up more availability for some of those popular cruises. Like initially, when they first announced Greece before the pandemic hit, those cruises sold out pretty quickly, and I think it was like opening day for Silver that they were gone. I think there may have been one or two cabins. Now they do come back, every now and then when somebody drops off, and you can always look at the European cruises. The paid in full date is always a little bit different. That's the time to maybe look for opening cabins if there is a sold out sailing. But I think with the Dream there, it's going to open up a little bit more availability. Also, it's exciting for everybody that lives over in Europe to be able to finally sail on a different ship other than the Magic, which has been there. And the Magic is a beautiful ship, but kind of neat for them to be able to sail on something different this year.
Yeah, for sure. And I was looking through these itineraries while you were talking, and there are only 2 sailings that don't have 2 or more sea days. So there is going to be an opportunity for you guys to do some things to experience on the ship, unless you're in one of those 2. So.
Okay. Anything else overall on this release before we talk about the different ships independently?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, let's just jump into the most boring ship in the fleet, which is going to be the Disney Wish, because she takes the place of the Disney Dream, and she's just going to putz around out of Port Canaveral on those 3 and 4 day sailings out to Nassau, Castaway Cay. A lot of different availability, there's a couple different angles. I don't think she does a double dip, does she?
No.
Is that when you double dip? You were the double dip.
No.
You were one of the double dips.
That's on the Magic.
Okay. So kind of the boring ship of the fleet now is the Disney Wish. She's already
for shame. You need to rewind, subtract that, or retract. Yeah, it's been a long day, guys. Retract that sentence.
No, I think it's really exciting for people to be able, because it's the newest ship.
The ship is that destination. That's what you're doing that cruise for. You're not doing it to to do something exciting. Let's just be honest.
And lots of itineraries for people to jump, to be able to do that. So she's not, taking up that 9-day Southern Caribbean or something like that, or 10-day Southern Caribbean that we'll talk about a little bit later. But yeah, so the Disney Wish basically taking over the place of the Disney Dream, which we already knew, sailing those 3 and 4 night sailings. So let's turn to the Disney Magic. What happened to the Magic? Usually that's the ship we talk about last. Where's she going to be at, Christy?
To me, she's doing the boring itineraries. Because at least with the Fantasy, you get like the week long, and the Wish, you get the Wish. So she is doing 4 and 5 night sailings from Miami. 4 and 5, 3, 4 and 5 night sailings from Miami.
But I'm going to give you a counterpoint, because she's got a couple other little sailings in there too to make it a little bit more exciting. She does 1 7 night to the Western, 1 7 night to the Eastern,
and an 8 night Southern I just saw.
And a 7 night.
Okay,
both
that's cool.
Both out of San Juan. So they are in May, because I was actually texting back and forth with somebody, because they go to your islands, the ABC Islands, down there, which is one of those destinations we would love to do one of these days. But unfortunately, they're in May when our kids are still going to be in school, so it's not going to work out for us. But
Sam just commented, yeah, the Magic is doing the cool Southern. I will be honest, guys. I had a very busy day. I looked at this very briefly earlier today, and I'm staring at it right now while I talk to you. So this is the level of preparation that has gone into the show.
Yeah, well, we're not going to go into all the nitty gritty. The itineraries are all out there online, but that is kind of cool to see the Magic be able to do a couple Southern Caribbean sailings out of San Juan. And Chris has been to San Juan and sailed out of there. Once you get over there, great magical island to spend time on, and just a great port to leave out of as well. So if that is in your on your bucket list in May, the Disney Magic will be sailing there. So, but most of her sailings, as you said, 3, 4, and 5 night Bahamian sailings out of Miami.
Yeah, and if you
go ahead.
Oh, really quick, if you are listening to this now or at a later date, go to our Facebook post, either mine on Pack Your Pixie Dust or DCL Podcast. We have posted the link in the post where we talk about the link for this itinerary. So for the people who are only listening live, it's the PDF version that Disney says every sailing of the summer. It's very convenient to look at. So you can go to either our Facebook, go to our Facebook page, either Pack Your Pixie Dust or DCL Podcast. In the link with the picture of the Disney Dream, in the comments, we have posted this link so that you can pull it up yourself and look at it all. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's much handier than trying to go through each one of the individual itineraries on the website itself. So let's turn to the Disney Fantasy. I think one of your favorite ships, Christy, until you go on the Disney Wish. She's going to be sailing out of Port Canaveral, basically doing her 7-night Eastern and Western sailings. There are some differences there, normally Tortola and St. Thomas, but she has a couple different sailings where she goes down to San Juan as well. We're not going to go through each one of those, but that's basically what she's doing. But she has one big sailing that's coming up this summer.
Yeah, she has a 10-night Southern. Well, not this summer, but 2023.
Right, sorry.
The summer we are referencing. Yeah, you know what, though? I love the Fantasy. She does need some new ports. Anthony Hatch and I were messaging about this earlier today that, there are a lot of really amazing Caribbean islands. And this is one thing that Carnival shockingly does very well, is it goes to very cool ports. And Disney could take a little lesson from there and go to some new places.
So some of the smaller ports, say Carnival with the smaller ships,
I don't know. They go on with new ships. Like their Vista is a full-size ship, and it goes to Turks and Caicos, it goes to Belize, it goes to Honduras, it goes to really cool places. It goes to the ABC Islands, and they're like flip-flopping this like every other cruise.
Okay. So I've never been down there. I'm a Bahamas kind of guy, I guess it seems like, in the Caribbean. I've been a couple other different.
Is the Bahamas even in the Caribbean? I don't think it's far enough.
It's in the Bahamas.
It's not far enough to be in the Caribbean.
It's not. Okay. Anyways, I guess what I'm saying is that that's good to know. Then the Fantasy could go down there too, just as well as the Magic. So yeah, I think that's one of those things that we all hope for. That just over time they're going to venture out to a couple of other different places. So. Sam says the 10-night Southern on the Fantasy sounds amazing. I agree. She's going to stop at Aruba, Bonaire, St. John, St. Thomas, Castaway Cay, and 4 glorious days at sea.
Do you think Curacao is feeling left out because it's going to Aruba and Bonaire, which is the A and the B of the ABC Islands?
I know. And now that I'm
Poor
thinking,
C.
yeah, they must have something going on because I don't think the Magic's going there on her
No, it
sailings
is. The
either.
Magic
Is
goes
she?
on May 5th.
Oh, well, there
The
you
May
go.
5th sailing.
There you go. Don't listen to me. So yeah.
Well,
So
you know, I just happen to have just read it. So
all right. So a lot of different itineraries out there. Once again, I want to give a huge plug. Whether you go, I wish there was another way to do it, but definitely go to our Facebook page because using this is so much easier as far as if you're like, you're not sure what itinerary you want to do, but you want to kind of see where they're going to. This PDF is awesome.
and if you have like only a certain week that you could be in Europe, or only a certain week that you could be in Alaska, or a certain week you could be on whatever, you can see every single date. It's so cool. So
all right, let's head out to the West Coast, the Disney Wonder, where she's home ported out of San Diego right now.
it's also kind of a boring
Well,
release.
you know the one thing I kind of feel bad. No Hawaii this year. Going to Hawaii this
Well,
summer,
but
but the following summer, no Hawaii.
somebody did ask about that, but she's going to Hawaii right this minute, which is
Yeah,
not summer. So are
right.
we certain that she isn't going? I don't know. I was not paying attention. But are we certain that she didn't go to Hawaii in April
Ooh.
next year?
Okay, good point. Let me.
Who's going to look that up? One of
Yeah.
our people who are commenting right now, please look up and see if I should have gotten Anthony. He would know. He's in love with that Hawaii itinerary. But look to see if the Wonder is going to Hawaii next April or early May.
Okay. Well, if she is, she's going in May. Once she gets up to Canada,
But why May? She's going right now. The
right,
sailing is occurring right this minute, and it's still April.
right, April on into May. Well, anyways, okay, she's not going to Hawaii in the summer of 2023.
She's
So
definitely not.
she's definitely not going to Hawaii in the summer of 2023.
She's got very boring Pacific Coast sailings.
Yeah, actually, this is
Well,
wonderful.
she goes to Alaska, of course.
Yeah, this is wonderful TV. This, you know what? Okay, she
You
does
said
not.
the banter.
Okay, she does not because she
That's
leaves on her
hopeful.
4-night Pacific Coast cruise on May 11th, and then her first Alaska
Oh.
sailing is May 15th. So no Hawaii, it looks like next year,
But
unless
wait, why can't it still be in April? What is your problem listening to the April option?
because she leaves San Diego to go to Vancouver May 11th,
Oh, she has
and
to,
then May
but
15th.
they would come back here. Wouldn't they come back to Vancouver potentially? Or
No,
they're going...
okay. Hold on. Before we get sidetracked, she leaves San Diego May 11th, and then her first Alaska sailing is May 15th. It's a 4-day sailing on May 11th to get up there. So that means that she's sailing out of San Diego in April. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but how do you know she didn't leave San Diego and then come back to it?
Because there's no way she has to stop at either Victoria or Vancouver based on the laws. She can't just go. She can't go straight.
Ensenada?
Yeah.
No, Ensenada is one of the stops that they use for Hawaii for other cruise lines, I think.
Okay. The Wonder's out of San Diego. Sam's got it. The Wonder's out of San Diego all of April 2023. Okay. All right, done. Fine. We're done. We're moving on with that one. And,
don't you wish you could just erase all of this part of the conversation and it wasn't live?
Where's the edit button? All right, let's talk about what the Wonder is doing. So no Hawaii in 2023, but she does have one 5-night sailing out of Vancouver. Once again, all of these sailings to Alaska are going to be out of Vancouver. And then she does what she normally does, the 7-night sailings up to Dawes Glacier this year. 2 of the sailings stop at Icy Strait Point instead of Skagway. We've had, when Chris went up to Alaska, he stopped at Icy Strait Point up there.
It's like a homemade, it's a man-made port.
Yeah, it
run literally is.
It's run by one of the tribes up there. I don't know if it's worth going to Icy Strait Point over Skagway, to be honest. But if that's in your itinerary,
you might have to.
You want to do. Yeah, you might have to based on your date. But 2 of those 7 nights does stop there. But she does have one 9-night sailing where she stops at the Hubbard Glacier instead of the Dawes Glacier, and then hits all the points: Icy Strait Point, Skagway, Ketchikan, Juneau, and whatnot. And
that'll be a very popular sailing.
Yeah, I think that is the one that out of the Alaska sailings that'll probably sell out the fastest when they go on sailing.
Why do you think they only do one longer cruise? Because people ask for it and they want it and they book it. But I'm curious, do they just book it on opening day? Do they take the cruise? Because I feel like those are also the ones that price out pretty high, and then maybe some people pivot and end up doing something different.
I don't have an answer for the 9 night as far as why they don't do more of those. Maybe it has to do with just the timing of the 7 7 7, the back to 7, and trying to fit a 9 night in there. So don't have an answer for you on that one, but I know it's a popular one. Everybody that has done it. I mean, if you can have a couple more nights up in Alaska, it's just a beautiful
So
destination.
amazing.
Yeah, we were supposed to go last year, and now we're going to Europe this year, and I'm kind of bummed about it a little bit. I was really looking forward to that Alaska cruise again, so I'm not sure when we're going to get back up there.
Yeah, I was messaging with somebody about she was trying to decide, and this is not a client, just a random person, but trying to decide between a double dip for her family and Alaska. But she has little boys. And I just said, the thing is, it's going to be like a once in a lifetime trip for them. And my son went when he was 5 and he doesn't remember any of it now. And he's almost 9. And he had like lost his spit one day in one of our tours, just like, had a real rough time. So that's a tough age. And if it's a once for us, it was part of a family trip. We had to go at that time. We're going to get to go again. If it's once in a lifetime, I would probably put it off a little bit. I know you guys did it early on with your boys.
I agree with that, especially as far as your kids being able to remember it as far as that goes. But I would also say this, that if you do have small kids, it's a great destination to go to because, I mean, sled dog puppies. I mean, what 5-year-old doesn't want to pet sled dog puppies?
Right. And yeah, so there is amazing. And just even little things like I have one of my favorite pictures ever is of Blake taking a picture of like playing with the camera when we were looking at glaciers. I mean, and like his whale watching, like when he was taking pictures next to me, well, it was just, those are really wonderful memories for me. And I get to go back. We will for sure go back to Alaska.
So I would, both answers are true. If you want your kids to remember it, maybe when they're little, they're probably not going to remember anything that you do. Maybe
if it's once in a lifetime, maybe wait.
Yeah. Sam says, Christy, I think you're right about people booking and canceling before paid in full because it's super expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Good points
and then
there,
it just
Sam.
Drives up the price, which is sad.
All right. So the Wonder back to Alaska, sailing out of Vancouver. Excited to see that she is back up there this year. And it's going to be a little challenging. I know for some of the people sailing out of Vancouver, there's some different procedures you have to go to get into and out of Vancouver right now. But just an amazing city to sail out of. So looking forward to hearing everybody's thoughts and seeing your pictures up there for those of you sailing up to Alaska this year as well. All right, let's turn to the Disney Dream, which is headed over to Europe. You had a question from me today. She is going to be leaving on a 13-night eastbound transatlantic. And I think this is a really cool itinerary. She's staying to the southern part of the Atlantic Ocean. I love all the stops. Love all the stops. I would love to do it. And the thing that holds me back is, other than the time of year with our kids being in school, is that 1 hour time change that creeps up on you. You got to get up an hour earlier every day.
Every single day.
Yeah.
I feel like the way back would be worse too. Like they say it's easier to go back, but like then you're eating dinner at like 10 o'clock at night if you have early dining as you're crossing, right? Because it's 1 hour.
Yeah. Just go up to Tomaters, get your burger. Get a little bit earlier.
Right.
First, like Lake and Katie, they do first and second.
But you don't need to wake up earlier if you don't want. Just don't wake up. Who cares?
That is true. Except, well, what gets hard is when you get to those port days, because I want to go to all those ports, and now you're getting up pretty early. Anyways, so she starts off with a 13-night eastbound transatlantic. She's got the one thing I really do like. Go ahead. You got a point to make.
There's no time changes before those ports. You're in Europe, going to Europe. Maybe there's 1 hour. But like most of those countries, it's at the most a 1 hour span. And I don't even know that there is that time. So you don't have to worry about the getting up earlier.
It's the 5 hour time. It's the 5 hour time zones that you cross before you get to them that gets you there.
Well, right. That first day is going to be real painful. But then you're just on the schedule.
I like the fact that they just stopped opening up cabanas early in the morning because nobody was coming, because everybody was sleeping in.
That is
it went on.
And you're like, forget it.
Yeah. All right. So we're not going to go through all the different itineraries. The one thing I do like, which
so cool.
Yeah, which what Disney Cruise Line has done is, I think in years past they did the same thing over and over and over again. Like they do the 7-night Mediterranean out of Civitavecchia and just recycle it over and over, back and forth between Civitavecchia and Barcelona. But now that it's kind of all over the place. You've got a lot of different opportunities. So
they did in Europe what we need them to do in the Caribbean.
Yes, I agree. So she's going to start off down in the Mediterranean when she gets over there, doing 7-night Mediterranean cruises out of Barcelona, and then she's eventually going to move over to Civitavecchia, and she's going to incorporate Mediterranean also with Greek Isle stops. So you've got a little opportunity to see the Mediterranean and also the Greek islands.
There's an 11-night. So this year there's a 12-night, but next year there will be an 11, which is still pretty amazing, to the Greek islands, and you hit like everything.
Yeah. So I think, there's an 11-night this year too. There's a big one.
Well, there's a 12-night this year.
A 12-night this year. Okay. So for those of you who have the time to be able to do that, they do have those big cruises as well. So she's going to start off in the Mediterranean, and then she's going to slowly move over from Barcelona up to England, where she's going to do some sailings. And I think these are a nod to they've got a couple 4-night sailings out of England, one to Spain, one to France, where you've got 2 days at sea, and then also a stop, one to I'm going to probably butcher this, but Bilbao, Spain, and then also La Rochelle, France. And I think those are a nod to those Magic at Sea sailings that they had last year that people.
That was my thought as well.
Yeah. I think it's totally makes up for those, those Magic at Sea sailings that they were having out of England at all the different ports. And so for everybody who lives over in England that was able to sail on the Magic and do that, you're kind of getting the same thing there, but you also this time get a port, which I think is cool.
I agree.
Yeah. So I think those are totally marketed mostly towards those of you who are living over in the United Kingdom or over in France, where you may be able to jump on the sailings as well.
Or it would work out if you were already doing an England trip next summer and then just threw that at on one of the ends of it. So it would have been in August because that's when they're going.
They also have a 10-night. I think this is kind of an interesting one too. 10-night Iceland, Norway, and France.
It's like everywhere.
Yeah. So you start off out of Dover, pop over to is it La Rochelle again? It's the port where you can either visit Normandy or you can get into Paris.
No, it's sure, but Cherbourg. That 10-night, I don't know how to say that word, but
Cherbourg. Yeah, okay, Cherbourg, France. So you can either pop into Paris, it's going to be a long ride, or you can explore the region of Normandy. Then you get 2 stops in Iceland and 1 stop in Norway on the way back. So I think that's kind of an interesting twist from what they've been doing. A bunch of Northern European sailings. There's one stop that I'm a little intrigued on. First of all, unfortunately, due to the war in Ukraine and what's going on over in Russia, no St. Petersburg in 2023, and I think that was to be expected, right?
Right. Do you guys know I'm Ukrainian? My dad was born there, so my last name, for those that know it, is Ukrainian, and I have kept it. And he came over right when he was actually born in Germany. They had started their whatever, but he came over just before he was 6 months old, so he got to be an American citizen, and my grandparents applied for citizenship later, and
wow, look at that. Who knew? That's kind of cool. I went to Kiev once a long time ago.
I wanted to go. Now it's gonna be a while before I go. My grandma went when I was in law school, and if it wasn't for law school, I really thought about going, but then she also packed her toilet paper. And I decided I didn't want to go to a place where I have to pack my own toilet paper.
Kind of sandy over there. The one thing I learned in Kiev was we got off and we got to go to the duty-free shop, and the lady at the duty-free shop said, "Do not buy the fancy bottle of vodka. You want the one down there that looks like the rattiest looking, because that's the best vodka you're going to get."
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like that too. So, all right. So she is going to transfer up there. So you've got that 10-night sailing. Also, she's out of Southampton. Yeah, Southampton, Dover. Shoot, I'm losing my brain here. She's going to do a 7-night Norwegian. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So that first 10-night we just talked about was Southampton to Copenhagen. And then she does a Copenhagen back to Southampton.
Right.
Which is kind of cool.
Kind of all over the place. You got Norway, you're touching the fjords, you've got the 10-night going to Iceland, Norway, and France, you've got a Northern Europe, and this is the one that kind of interests me. It goes to Kiel, Germany, and which is a little bit further away than Berlin. And I'm totally drawing a blank as to the normal port that they always stop in so you can go into Berlin. Do you remember, Christy? Why am I've been there and I can't say Warnemünde. That's it. Kiel's further away. The biggest city is Hamburg. So I'm not sure if anybody knows what there is to do in Kiel, Germany. I would be intrigued, but she stops in Kiel for some reason. But Nynäshamn, Sweden is really just the port outside of Stockholm.
Very good job at this.
I'm trying.
But if successful.
Yeah, if you see that one is that's actually Stockholm. So that's just it's an hour outside of Stockholm. It's a different port. You take a train in. It's super easy. We did that with Norwegian cruise line when we sailed on the getaway up in our Northern European sailing. And then on the other Northern European, instead of stopping in St. Petersburg, they've got 2 stops in Denmark, it looks like this time. So a little bit different.
Belgium.
Belgium too. It makes my heart sad because St. Petersburg is such an amazing city. And I hope that the world will come back to a time when we can go back there and visit it, because the history and the sights that you can see there are just amazing. So anything else about Europe, I guess, that stood out to you?
No, they're just really great itineraries.
A couple other one-offs that they've got that they had. We talked a little bit, the 4-night Pacific Coast cruise. So when the Wonder transitions from San Diego up to Vancouver, she's got 2 days at sea. Sometimes she stops in San Francisco. Sometimes she does. I think when she comes south from Vancouver, she stops in San Francisco. But when you go north, they stop in Victoria, and that's a great stop. They call Victoria the land of the newlywed or the nearly dead, but just a beautiful city. So a lot of newlyweds up there and a lot of older people up there, and I guess everybody in between is out working before they go back to hang out in Victoria. So I need to just be quiet, don't I?
That's nice. That's
too much information.
I bet somebody out there loved that piece of information.
Yeah, Bouchard Gardens, beautiful. We have one question, Courtney. How many ships will be in Europe next summer? Eins, the Disney Dream.
One.
The other one is an 8-night Bermuda and Bahamian on the Disney Fantasy, where she's going to do 2 days at Kings Wharf, Bermuda, Nassau, Castaway Key, and 3 days at sea. That is September 9th. So kind of that hurricane season. So since the Magic is not going to be up out of New York, heading down to Bermuda, if you want to get to Bermuda, there's your one sailing that gets you to Bermuda with Disney Cruise Line.
Where was that? I got distracted.
It's on the second page on the very back. It says like other cruises. So those are just some one-off cruises that are a little bit different than we normally see. Yeah.
I would never have. That one was kind of hidden in there.
Yeah.
Because you see like the 4-night Pacific Coast, I sort of just assumed it was another like Pacific Coast type cruise.
Yeah.
There's not much I was paying attention. That's very cool.
All right. Brian says your sailings look awesome, but are also pricey, especially if you don't sail in May. That is a true statement. Yeah, that is a true statement.
It's that way though with Disney every year, unfortunately. That's one of those you can't, it's a saver upper type trip. It's, these are bucket list. These aren't your everyday, I'm just going to hop on the Wonder for 4 nights out of San Diego type cruise, right? It's like a big production to save for that.
So let's touch on that point for just a second. This is the DCL podcast, the Disney Cruise Line. Well, not the Disney Cruise Line, but the DCL podcast where we focus on Disney Cruise Line. But we all know that you love celebrity and have sailed on Royal Caribbean and Norwegian and a lot of other different cruise lines as well. Our family has done twice. We've been on Norwegian. Well, not my family. Anawake and I have been.
But you have.
I've done Norwegian twice over in Europe. So if somebody else is looking, if those prices are a little bit too high for you as far as what Disney is offering, take a look at Celebrity. Celebrity has ships all throughout Europe.
You can cruise with kids. And if you don't have kids, it's that much more amazing. But if you do have kids, they'll still take very good care of you. If you want something that has a lot more kids and maybe more kid-centric activities, because the thing with Celebrity is if you are not on a shore excursion or an adult, you're pretty much, there's not a lot of entertainment options besides swimming. And they have like big pools, they have good sized pools, but they don't have other things really. So like ping pong, I think they have. But so you need to make your own entertainment. So if you can do that, depending on your family, but this is why work with a good travel agent. So a travel agent can talk through and say what makes sense for your family, what would be best for your family in your situation. These European cruises are not one size fits all. No. So you really want to make sure it's right. I did Alaska on a different cruise line and we had kids with us, but we picked it because it was more affordable for the large group of people that were going. So.
And look at Norwegian and Royal as well, because they have ships. They have smaller ships. They also have some of the bigger ships over in Europe. So depending upon if that's important to you. But if you're looking, if Disney's looking a little too pricey, with your travel agent, maybe take a look at some of the other cruise lines, because I can tell you that the 2 cruises that we did with Norwegian, I mean, at the end of the day, you're still in the same ports that we went to, and we went to some amazing ports. And we loved our experiences with both of our experiences with Norwegian Cruise Line. So if Disney's not in your budget, don't let that preclude you from maybe not going and experiencing some amazing cities in the cruising world. Not in the cruising world, but using the cruise lines to get to those amazing cities, because there's a lot of other different options to do that as well.
Right. And you have to remember that Disney is a premium cruise line. So it's a level above the mass market. Celebrity and Princess are also premium cruise lines. Royal Caribbean, Carnival, and Norwegian Cruise Line are mass market, which is the lower. So you are going to get a little bit more. I don't know if it's enough to justify the price more, but we love our Disney experience, right? So we choose it because it is important to us. But you'll get a little bit, maybe the sheets aren't quite as soft or things like that. But so just take that into consideration. You have to pay for your own soda on the other cruise lines, but it's worth it.
That's okay. The water's still free on most of them.
Included.
That's true.
Not the bottled water though. But
no, not the bottled water.
The filtered faucet water or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Brian's in my boat, although his kids are a little bit younger. So it's like once those kids get off in college and they're doing their thing and everything like that, then we're all going to be able to sail on those May sailings where it's a little bit cheaper. So, and there's only 2 of you then. So, all right, should we move into when the booking window opens for everybody, Christy?
Sure.
All right. Do you want to do it or should I?
I'll let you start.
Okay, we'll start off. As we said, May 2nd, Monday, May 2nd, this coming Monday is when it is going to open up for Platinum Castaway Club members. You can sign into your account to book online at 8 a.m. Eastern or contact your travel agent. All over the website in this release, they've said, please, please, please use a travel agent or try and book using the website. And I've got one question for you, for people that may be in this situation, because you may have long lines on the phones trying to book these cruises. So here's my question.
Yeah, I mean,
people that have those onboard booking credits, if they're trying to do it themselves, there's no way to do it other than to call in, correct?
In theory, with this new Joe Chung of Disney and Deciphered and I were messaging about this earlier today. And he's like, can you just log in and check? I'm like, I don't have time for that right now. But in theory, with this new release of so they did an upgrade like a month ago and broke their whole system, right? And then a week ago, they did another little change. And in theory, with that little change, you should be able to log in and modify your onboard booking. Should.
Okay. Should be able to. So anyways, once again, that's their recommendation is if you're doing it yourself, do it online. That seems to work pretty easily for most people to jump online as soon as it opens up for your booking window and book it that way. Otherwise, we always recommend if you can do so, maybe think about using a travel agent, especially somebody with a small business, help support small businesses in your community. That's what we do. Also, Golden Oak Club members will be able to book at that time, and they've got a separate number, I guess, that they can call. Tuesday,
although
May
if you're
3rd.
Golden Oak, you can call me. I can still assist you. Be happy to do so.
Tuesday, May 3rd. Who's coming up on Tuesday, Christy?
Gold Castaway Club members can book starting May 3rd, and obviously Platinum that hadn't booked yet and then decided to look at something can book.
And for those of you in the Silver Castaway Club member status, it's going to be open on Thursday, May 5th.
So that's a change. They're skipping a day. And actually, do you want me to continue?
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Some Disney lady emailed travel agents. She's like a vice president of something, emailed travel agents today and said that they're doing it to give their systems the opportunity to catch up with the previous people that were allowed to book.
I thought they were giving those Golden Oak people a little bit more time to peruse what selection they would like to go on.
Probably.
Probably. Okay, so Thursday, May 5th, Silver Castaway Club members can book once again at 8 a.m. Eastern. I'll let you get the and.
And Disney Vacation Club members and Adventures by Disney Adventure Insiders can also book on Thursday, May 5th. So on the Silver Day.
And this one, I'm going to just wish you the best of luck because I've not called them in a long time. But I think if you're a DVC member that is cruising with Disney Cruise Line for the first time and you're not a Silver Castaway Club member, you have to call DVC member services. You don't?
Because I can book it for them.
You can book
it for them. But you have to call. So you have to call Disney Cruise Line. You only have to book with DVC. So the thing with DVC is they're your travel agent if you book through them. And you can do that. But then any change or anything, you have to book through them. So they're acting as your travel agent. You can book on your own. Why would you do that? I'm just kidding. Or you could book with a travel agent. We can call on the Silver Day. We need your DVC number and they look it up and then we can book. So you just have to give your travel agent your DVC number. And then for everybody else, if you're a previous Disney Cruise Line cruiser and you're emailing your travel agent with the information you want, you need to make sure you give them your Castaway Club number. They only need one person's. The rest of your family will auto-populate as long as they've cruised before. We need the date of birth of the one person whose Castaway Club number you've given and your name. So then we can log into the system and go in and make that booking during your booking window time. So email those pieces of information. And then obviously everybody else in your party, the travel agent is still going to need their date of birth, their legal name.
Okay.
And their gender. Let me just add that in too. Give your child's gender to your travel agent. I mean, they might know already, right? But some of our names are fun or can be gender neutral and can go back and forth, right? There's names of every gender practically now with every name. So just give that because we have to put it in there.
Yeah, Alex, our youngest, we've had that problem with him before because we don't put Alexander, we put Alex. And so people are like, well, is it a boy or a girl? So once again, full names, gender, and then your Castaway Club number to make sure you get that to your travel agent so that they can book that for you. And then it looks like there's a little bit of time again too for the Silver Castaway Club members after they book.
A lot of time.
Yeah, we're just the Castaway Club members. All of us Castaway Club members can kind of take a time and look at things. And maybe you book something and go, you know what? Maybe I like this a little bit better. You can swap that around before the general public starts booking on Monday, May 9th. So that is your booking window. That's all on the Disney Cruise Line website. And I think that's all we have for tonight, Christy. Anything else?
The only thing that we didn't fully address as much as I would like is the double dips. We mentioned that it was there and that we were going to talk about it, but we didn't actually fully address it. So there are 4 different double dip sailings. One on the Fantasy, which is a 5-night, which is pretty exciting. I love that ship. I love that ship for a double dip. And that's July 8th. And then there's 3 on the Magic. So June, August, September. So you have lots of different month choices depending on what your needs are for the Magic. So that's exciting too.
It is. Do you ever get to just keep your chair? Can you just put your name on that chair? And so like when you come back to the second time, it's already ready for you. Get your towel out there. Do people do that? Just like they do up at the cruise deck where they get there at 7 o'clock in the morning, put their towel down?
Because they clear everything off the island. But we had a time, I know you're kidding, but we had a time where we had double dip and we had the same cabana for both days of double dip. And we had thought about leaving stuff in the cabana, but what if the ship didn't stop there? Like, what if there was weather or whatever and they couldn't make that
get back in?
Why?
Well, I mean, just because it was windy or something like that. Just like you said, the weather.
All right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So what if the ship
Yeah.
doesn't make it to the port, and then your stuff's just sitting there going,
I guess you need to book another cruise. Call your travel agent. I need to get back to Castaway. Yeah, I left my bucket.
If you have a cabana, you don't need to bring a bucket because they provide a bucket for you. And
See,
sand toys for your children.
all these things I don't know, just like Serenity Bay. I don't even know if that really exists. I think it's just like out there in the ether somewhere that people talk about. But you went there
I know.
finally.
I went there for the first time. It was so beautiful. It was like, and I missed my opportunity. I'm very disappointed in myself, but it was like, it would have been a perfect video where you just sort of panned out and we're like, oh, because when you're coming from the little shuttle, all you see like a little bit of blue water out in the distance. But then when you're walking out that beach, it's sort of like when you get to Vero Beach and you're walking out that little walkway to the beach, and then all of a sudden it's just bam, beach, beautiful. It's like that at Castaway. It's like you walk a little and then bam, beautiful.
Beautiful, right there. Kind of like The Simpsons, where the clouds part and everything like that. And it's just a happy time. So
I have no idea what you're talking about, but okay.
No, okay, never mind. All right. Well, as we get out of here, a couple more thoughts here. Christine says thoughts and prayers for your Ukrainian family, Christy.
No,
and did I live in Germany? No, I didn't live in Germany, but I used to fly there quite a bit when I was with the Air Force. And Germany is my Germany's to me what Castaway Key is to Christy. So
that's weird. But you guys do like Germany. You're going there this summer, right? Are you going?
Yep, going there in a little over a month and a half, something like that. Can't wait. So everybody out there, whatever you're booking, we'd love to hear what it is that you are excited to book. If you want to go to our Facebook page and throw that on there, or after you book, we'd love to see where everybody's going to be going.
Comment on the post where we've announced that summer 2023, regardless if you're going a Dream or something else. But comment and tell us what you're booking and what you're planning to book or what you do end up booking. Come back and we can have that conversation.
Okay, so before we get out of here, Christy, if people do not have a travel agent and they're looking for your services possibly to help them out booking that summer 2023 vacation, whether it's with Disney Cruise Line or somebody else, or just looking to get out on a ship this summer, how can they get a hold of you, Christy?
Christy@packerpixiedust.com is my email address. You can actually go to my website and find my office phone number and email there as well, which is just packerpixiedust.com. And then I'm on all the social media channels under that name as well. So you can find me and reach out, and I'll send you my email that way as well.
Well, as we get out of here, I want to wish you the best. Safe travels back to Florida from up there in Michigan. And thanks everybody for getting back home.
It's so cold.
I know. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out with us tonight. Thanks for all of you who come and listen to our podcast. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we want to wish you all the best next Monday as the booking window starts opening. I hope that you get the cruise or the vacation that you and your family are most excited about. So with that being said, I'll say goodnight, and we'll see you next time on the DCL podcast. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.